Good evening. Good evening. Just waiting for some people to come in. Good evening. We are excited to celebrate our small wins or our big wins, our small victories. We are excited to be celebrating the writing challenge. Just waiting for some people to come in, and we are going to get started. I'm so elated that I have some awesome authors that are joining today. They are joining to let us know about their writing and their experience during the writing challenge. They're going to tell us about their victories. They're going to tell us about how the challenge has allowed them to grow and how the challenge has allowed them to become the writer that they want to be, and how they're going to continue to take the momentum from this challenge to continue to write until their book is finished. So good evening. If you're coming in, please let us know where you're watching from. We would love to greet you. Please let us know where you are watching us from. It is so awesome to be here. I'm just going to wait like one more minute, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself as well. Good evening. If you're coming in, please let us know that you're here. Let us greet you. Let us know where you are watching from. Good evening. I'm going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds. Hope everyone can see everyone that's in the broadcast. I'm going to get started in 30 seconds. All right. All right. So, hey everyone, my name is Takumbo Okalaja, and I am the founder of Takumbo the Leader LLC, where we help rising leaders love their authentic voice by building their confidence to write and speak. So one of the great things that we are doing during this time is we did something called Pen Through the Pandemic, and it is a 30-day writing challenge where we had 10 different sets we had 10 different days where we had 3 coaches, and all 3 coaches had 10 days each where we had our own theme during that time. And so for the first 10 days, I kicked off the challenge, and I did Healing Through Writing, which is based off of my workbook, the Healing Through Writing workbook, which you should pick up a copy. It's on Amazon. And we did some of the strategies from that book. And then the next 10 days, we had Coach Nicole Taylor come in, and she talked about who is your medium? What are you listening to? And for this last 10 days, our theme is fortifying your mind. We are confronting writer's block. And I'm excited about this particular portion because writer's block is so gross. And I hate writer's block. I cannot stand when people tell me like, hey, I haven't been able to write. I have no creativity right now. And I'm like, you know what? This really, writer's block sucks, right? And so we are trying to confront those mindsets that we have, and we're trying to dismantle them so that we can unlock the creativity that we have inside of us so that we can write our books that other people need to hear, so we can write out our authentic stories. Hey, Valerie, good to see you from the deep South, Texas. Good to see you. She's one of our writing challenge participants as well. So today we are just celebrating, and we're giving an update about all the things that we have learned. I have 4 different authors that are in the writing challenge with us, and they're going to share their experience. They're going to tell us what they've learned. They're going to tell us how they've been growing. They're going to tell us why you should join us in these last 10 days with our theme, Fortifying Your Mind. We have Coach Faber, who's giving us these dope prompts about what we need to do in order for us to build that confidence and in order for us to dismantle that writer's block that's hindering us from really being creative and really tapping into our imagination. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allow the writers that have joined us tonight to go ahead and introduce themselves, where they're from, and also tell us why did you decide to join the writing challenge. And we could go ahead and start with Tiffany Nicole.
Hey guys, my name is Tiffany Nicole. I am from Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And the reason why I chose to join the Writers Challenge is because Takumbo's book, Healing Through Writing, she had like a workshop, I believe it was last month, and it was life-changing. I mean, it went so deep into my childhood in ways that like counseling and other, vehicles weren't able to get that deep into my heart. And so when she said she was in the 30-day writing challenge, I was like, let's do this. Whatever Tacumbo's doing related to writing, I'm there.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffany Nicole. So good to see how you've been growing through all the different workshops. Let's go ahead and hear from Deanna.
Hey guys, I'm Deanna. I also attended the workshop webinar, Healing Through Writing, and it was amazing. I was kind of like, yes, she is the real deal, and I need more of, what she's talking about, what she's involved in. That was awesome. And then I happened to already be trying to write every week, and I was like, well, this is perfect. I'll just write every day. And the group has been really awesome to keep me accountable in writing. So it's been good.
Thank you so much, Deanna. Maren, you can go ahead.
I recently relocated to North Carolina. I was in the workshop originally also, and I joined because I love writing. I'm supposed to write. I believe it's a mandate on my life, but there was something blocking me from doing it. There was just something prohibiting me from really flowing with it, and I couldn't understand. I knew that I needed a kickstart. I knew it, so I joined. Actually, my husband encouraged me to join, and so I did, and loved it. It actually just helped burst through whatever that blockage was, and now I'm on the right track now. So I'm really happy to have joined.
I keep muting myself. Awesome. Thank you so much, Maren. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Dwyer.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I am from Central Texas, but moved to Chicago in 2017. I am a teacher, or actually I'm a writing teacher. So kind of the two reasons why I decided to join the challenge was one, just to write. I've kind of got lost track of writing in my life and how therapeutic it is for me. And then two, as part of a really big discussion with my 7th graders is how to use your voice. And a lot of them are scared to write and to express themselves. And so I felt a really good way for me to kind of connect with my students was to go through a writing challenge myself and really kind of dust off the cobwebs and like realize how challenging prompts can be and how deep they can go. And so it's just kind of a time for me to kind of get to know myself a little better and then also understand what my kids are going through.
Awesome. Thank you so much for relating that right back to the classroom. So Daniel and well, he's been teaching writing longer than me. He's been teaching writing for the past, 17, 18 years, is it?
It's been 16 years, yes.
16 years? Oh my goodness. And I only taught writing for the past 7, 8 years. So he has a wealth of knowledge, and we are just so excited about writing. We're so excited about launching people into their writing destinies. We're so excited about the scribes, especially the young leaders that are being raised up right now. So I wanted to just let us all know what was one of your biggest fears about joining. I know a lot of people message me before joining. They're like, I don't know if I want to join because I'm a little bit fearful. I haven't written in a long time. But like people really still took the jump. And so what would you say about those people? Or like, how did you overcome the fear, or did you even have fear about joining the writing challenge? And we can start with Maren.
Okay, to be honest, I don't think I had all right, I was concerned that it wasn't going to work, that it wasn't going to help me. I'm being totally honest. I just was afraid that, okay, I'll try this, but I don't think it's going to help. And I was completely wrong. It was totally wrong.
Tiffany Nicole, thank you, Mary.
I wouldn't say that I was fearful per se. I think because you had instilled so much courage in us when it comes to our writing in the workshop, I think I was more in anticipation. I didn't know what to expect, but then when I actually got into the 30 days, I was just like, whoa, this is way deeper. Someone throw me a life vest. So.
Deanna.
Yeah, so I don't think I was afraid because Facebook challenge groups. Sure, here's another group. I'll join this challenge. I mean, like, but I knew that this one was special and that I really wanted to be committed to it. So I think for me, I was like, okay, like, I don't want this to be another Facebook group. Hopefully, I can write every day. And then now that I'm in the challenge and have been going through it, it's been really great. But I do feel my inner self afraid of my own writing in a way, because it's like, oh, like I don't really feel like going there right now, but it's like, no, this is exactly where you need to go so you can create and experience freedom and like the fullness of getting it all out,
Thank you. Daniel?
I think that my biggest fear was more around the kind of the faith concepts that were introduced in some of the writing. It's a very shaky subject for me, so it forced me to like really one, trust myself to go there, and two, to push myself to go there, because instead of running away from what is important for you to kind of digest and think through and write about, and to embrace it and lead into it rather than just say, hey, I'm done, I'm moving on. And I think also, like, I think one of the big fear that a lot of people have is that your writing is going to be compared to somebody else and that your voice is not special. And that's something that I think all writers need to take a step back and realize that your voice and your tone and your perspective of the world is just as important as famous writers that have been canonized throughout history. So like the fear of that your writing is not good enough is a fear, but it's something that is easily overcome if you just trust yourself.
Awesome.
Takumbo.
Yes.
I want to clarify that I was afraid that my fear was bigger than anything else, that it was going to prevent me from getting what I wanted and desired. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for your transparency and your vulnerability. Thank you guys for being so brave. Good to see you, Mr. Carr. Good to see you, Colleen. Good to see people are coming in. If you have any questions for the writers, please ask them while we're talking, or we're going to answer questions at the end. Another question I have is, what has been your favorite part about the challenge? I've been reading all of y'all's writing, and it's been blowing me away. I was like, whoa, this is super deep and super dope. So like, you guys are like saying, oh, these prompts are deep. I'm reading this up. I'm like, ooh. So what has been your favorite part about the writing challenge? And we can start with Deanna.
Okay. My favorite part of the writing challenge is probably just seeing the different prompts and the different leadership within the group. Like, all three of you have been amazing, and it's like so stretching and so edifying and good. And I just feel myself growing through this writing experience. And then also seeing like the different personalities and the different people who are in the group, and also just like their willingness to be vulnerable. So all this variety coming together has made it a really rich experience.
Thank you. Daniel?
I think the part that I really enjoy and like is that I don't have to come up with prompts. I think sometimes when you get up and you just start writing, you don't know where to go with it. And so the prompts really kind of give you the direction that you need to kind of like focus your writing. And I think that's kind of refreshing in a time where, you're doing work and you're dealing with, the pandemic and family, that someone is providing you something as a jumping point to go from. And that's kind of really the best part of this.
Awesome. Maren?
I totally agree. The prompts, I love the prompts. They just motivated me and triggered different thoughts, ideas, and things that were stuck in my head that I needed to get out. And it was like, it just helped to kind of get the writing juices flowing, for lack of a better word. I love the prompts.
Awesome. Tiffany and Nicole?
I think I love two things. The consistency. Whenever you're trying to develop a new habit, they say start off with 21 days. So the fact that it's 30 days and it's been keeping us accountable with our writing, and I'm going deeper with my writing and longer. And the second thing is that it's been life transformative. I feel like I'm going through like a post quarter life crisis, like with the prompts that what's drawing out of my heart and my life, it's very transformative. So
awesome. Thanks again for your transparency. I love all this great transparency and vulnerability. Another question is, what have you been inspired to do as a result of the writing challenge? Like, so the whole point was that we were trying to build people's muscles to write and like build their confidence, right, to write. So what have you been inspired to do as a result of going through the 20 days or 21 days so far? And we can start with Daniel this time.
I think the one thing that kind of inspired me is to really kind of like provide a space for my own students to write about their experiences. I think that in a time where, you know, we want to hear everybody's voice, I want to provide a space for my kids to share their voice. And then second, it's really kind of odd. Like I'm riding my bike along the lake or riding the train up the red line, and all of a sudden all these ideas start popping up in my head, and it makes me write down like, oh, this would be a great, like I would love to write a children's book one day or a young adult book. So like I jotted down all these ideas. So that's kind of been the benefit of this class and where I'm going with it all.
Awesome. Someone else want to chime in?
I'll share.
Oh, go ahead.
You want to go first, Farron? I'll go after you.
Okay. To finish my book, I have to finish my book. And do you want me to go into that right now or not? Do you want me to?
Oh, you can.
Yeah, this writing challenge just pushed me to finish the thing that I had been dragging my feet about. There's no more excuses now. There's no more excuses. So I'm really excited about it.
I'm so excited too. You know me, I'm really excited for that. This is the whole goal. The whole goal is to really inspire people to write their books. So I'm glad that you like got that revelation a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tiffany Nicole.
So yeah, it's definitely helped me to go deeper within myself. And I'm actually the prompt that started me going on a self-discovery journey, self-love journey is where you had us write like a letter, an angry letter to someone that, you know, in our past or in our life or past, and a forgiveness, like how we're forgiving them towards the end. And so that spiraled, like, I have changed relationships and like ended relationships as a result of that, with a lot of fasting and prayer, don't get me wrong. But that like triggered what was actually going on inside of me. So that's why I said this is a whole like life transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
My turn. So I've been inspired to really just keep writing and journaling and taking the moments where I don't want to go there and just write about it and get it all out, because it just feels so good to release some stuff. And then it's like it opens up room for writing a book. I know that I'm going to edit in something I already have and then keep on finishing that project and then go on to write some more. So it's like this has been a weight lifted off my shoulders, like just feeling the freedom to write and the freedom to create with a clear mind.
Awesome. Thank you guys. If you're watching and you've joined the writing challenge, just chime in on the comments, letting us know what has the writing challenge so far inspired you to do. A lot of people have gotten revelation about their books, about their children's books, about books they've been putting off for years. And also, writing is a healing mechanism. It's very therapeutic. Someone gave me a testimonial about that as well. So if you have joined the challenge and you're watching, please put in the comments, what has this inspired you to do with your own writing journey? So another question I have that I was talking to with a lot of other people is, why is it important for leaders to know how to write or to know how to express themselves through writing? I know Daniel's super passionate about this topic, so I don't know if you want to go ahead and lead us off, letting us know, why do leaders need to know how to write, or just write in general?
Well, I think I think that writers, really, like adult writers, need to really know how to formulate ideas to, one, get the point across, to be more professional, because like you see writing in general in the professional setting, and it's not really clear. Just the basic grammar structure is not appropriate. So you lose. It's when you have, in my opinion, when you have poor writing, your ideas get lost in translation. And I think as like in a time where we want more people to voices heard, it's very important that you learn how to not only speak it but also write it. Entire movements have been created through writing. Stories from all the way from the Mayan civilization to Maya Angelou, and those stories are that impactful because they're written in a way that is concise, that has a point, and that it's been created in a way that it's a common language that everyone understands. So when we learn and practice our skills, we become better leaders. We become more influential in society. We become voices that can impact change. And so a lot of times when we just write or we don't practice our writing skills as leaders, we can't really go very far as leaders. So that's why, like I tell my students all the time, you want to get your point across. So what is the best way to get it across? Like writing a whole entire paragraph with no punctuation, your message is lost. So like really developing adults into like strong writers so that they can make those impacts and those changes that are necessary in the world.
Thank you. Deanna, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, definitely. I am definitely a strong believer that we are all leaders, even if it's in our own life, and the people we do influence the people around us as well. And so kind of like what Daniel was saying about formulating your message of what you want to get across, the writing process is really refining, and it brings clarity to confirm what you believe and what you are trying to say, and really how you live your life. So,
Tiffany Nicole.
Well, right before, I was on the brink of launching an e-course, and then God brought me to your Writing Through Healing, and he told me I need to slow down because I can't teach what I haven't been a student of. And I had to go through my own personal healing journey before I could help others. And I got that input from 2 mentors as well. So I just think that this whole writing journey has helped me to be a student.
It's deep. Thank you. Maren?
I believe that every single one of us has something very valuable within us, life experiences that can touch and reach different people. I can reach someone that somebody else can't, and you can reach somebody that I can't. And I think that if it stays in our head, if all the information that we have gained through life, if it just stays in our head, we're not utilizing it. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. There's a purpose for the information that we have, the life lessons we've learned. And if we're not sharing it, it's not serving its purpose. So we have to get it out of our head, whether it's through writing or speaking or both. It's always both. But I know for myself, if it doesn't get out of my head, there's too much going on inside my head, and I absolutely need that outlet. I need to speak it or I need to write it. Otherwise, I don't function very well. I don't think so. I just think that everybody has very, very important, necessary information and messages for today, for right now, that have to be heard, have to be written, and they have to be spoken.
Yeah, so if you just came in where the question was, why is it important for leaders to know how to write? And so that's what they were chiming in on. And also, I just love your answer too, because I know in the class, the Healing Through Writing class, we discussed how writing is a mechanism to be able to regulate your emotions. And so instead of taking out your anger or taking out even if like you're overjoyed, and a lot of people can't handle that, writing is just a way to like get it all out. And so you don't like spill it all out on another person and it's unwarranted, or like they're not able to handle how angry you are or even how excited you are sometimes. So I just really believe that for leaders, even like when you want to process your emotions or before you want to go kirk off on someone that did something on your team, it's like, wait a second, let me write this down. Let me see, what are the pros and the cons of this? Is it going to be cool if I go in there storming, yelling at her? Or would it be better if I do this? And like, like really write out what's going on. So I love that you brought that up, and I love everyone's points. So I won't like go back over it. But if you are watching and you have something to chime in on the comments, why do you think it's important for leaders to know how to write?
Well, can I add something? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that in the 21st century, writing has become a lost art almost, because a lot of times we are focusing on like sending a message on text message or like communicating, through, all the different, social apps. And writing has somehow seemed to be put in the back burner. And I think it needs to be brought to the forefront again, because writing is one of those tools that are very universal, all the way from, like I said earlier, from the Mayan culture, but like even biblically, God wrote on your heart. He wrote on your heart. Like writing was something that was a biblical idea, like writing the 10 Commandments, So it's just like writing is a necessary tool for us to express our ideas, to make movements, to change minds. And so as leaders and adults, we need to step into that space where we practice our writing so that we too can make changes in this world and make something happen and make our ideas known, because a lot of times, especially for like a person of color, we get lost in the mix. So like the only way for that progress to happen is to start writing and start expressing your voice.
Right. That's awesome. Another thing too, when you brought that up about the lost art, I know one of the things that it was difficult for me as a teacher, especially my first 2 years, is really integrating writing into my class, right? So a lot of the times it was a big pushback, right? Because it was not part of the curriculum, or like it was not on the state test, so we're not going to teach writing. And I'm like, what? Almost everything I did in college was writing. And so it was really a fight. Like I would have to like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm teaching them writing. Like they need this for college. So when he said that just like triggered me, because I really like fought like my first 2 years. I mean, I fought my first 4 years too, right? And so as a teacher, trying to like really get these children to write. And then even when I did, it was like the kids were bucking back at me, and like they were super angry because I realized that a lot of their teachers never taught them how to write. And so it's not like they couldn't write, it's that they were afraid to write because no one ever taught them. And they're like in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And they're like, ma'am, we've been going all our life through school without writing. Please leave us alone, lady.
Well, the thing that's interesting, like even politically, if you want to get there, but like, the first thing people do to destroy history is to get rid of the writing. And so the only way, like educationally wise, we are suppressing a whole group of kids from writing so that their message could never be heard. And so like as teachers, if you ever, even as parents, make sure your teachers, your kids' teachers are writing with them and practicing that writing. Are you practicing writing with your own children? Because, a society that doesn't have anything written down is a lost society.
Wow, that's good, Daniel. That's good. Yes, and also too, when you said that, I was just reminded of when he was showing me his material for the 7th grade writing curriculum, and he was telling me, and I was like, this is so awesome, because we want students to tell their authentic stories. So many times, other people are telling us who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to look like. And the schools that Daniel and I have taught at, we mostly teach at predominantly African-American schools. They're mostly in low-income areas. And so they're always getting a bombardment of literature, of representation that does not look like them or doesn't sound like them. It's like telling them who they should be, what they should look like, what they should sound like. And so I really love so much that he is continuing in Chicago. Let's go, Chicago. Southside, right? You still on Southside?
I in Inglewood, so yeah, basically Southside, yeah.
Oh yeah. So he is out there really making sure that those babies are definitely sharing their own authentic stories, and they're not allowing someone to shape their narrative. And so they get to control their own narrative when you know how to write. So I'm super proud of you. And if you're a teacher and you're teaching writing, I'm so proud of you, and keep going. I know it's rough because it's like you have to read all their papers. You're like, oh my gosh, I gave out this writing assignment. Now I got to read this stuff. What was I thinking? So that's another reason why a lot of teachers don't actually assign writing assignments, because they have to grade them. They have to be like, oh snap, like what was I thinking? So yeah. Another question, a big portion of our writing challenge is that we challenge people to use their authentic voices. So we know that writing allows us to have a voice, and so you develop your voice through writing, but also you have a speaking voice. And one of the things that I know is a lot of people say, oh, I hate my voice. I hate my voice. And I really don't like when people say that, because it's really, your voice is powerful, and your voice has a way of reaching certain people that not everyone's voice can reach. And so the way that you're born, the way that your vocal cords are put together, like it was by divine design, right? And so in the group, we have one spotlight a day where they're supposed to be able to practice their speaking. So we are going to we're going to have some people practice their speaking right now, and they're going to share what they've been writing. Right, we've been talking about the challenge, but what did they actually write? So I don't know who wants to go first. Who wants to share their writing? Tell us what prompt it was, if you can remember, and just share your writing. And if you're in the challenge and you're watching and you want to comment on there and share a little bit of your writing as well, please share with us, because it's beautiful. It's amazing. So I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll go.
I guess
no, now you go this time.
Okay. My writing is from day 21, which I believe was yesterday. And kind of like I told you guys, this writing challenge has opened me up to go on a self-discovery journey, self-love journey, and some relationships. And so today I'm a day behind on my writing. So I wrote day 21 today, and I was feeling a little anxiety from the changes in the relationship. And so here it goes. Oh, sorry. I generally don't feel this emotion, but today I do. It's on overdrive. Anxiety is a thief of my capacity. It makes me shrink. It makes me small, like the size of a pin drop. Bloop. My anxiety feels like a mustard seed. So then how do I move mountains? The mountains of anger, frustration, loss of time, and unspoken identity. There's rough terrain in my mind. The hills and valleys are rolling into the sea, developing a catastrophic tsunami that hasn't crashed ashore in years. Like how God held back the sea for Moses. I feel like my emotions are stalled, building up to the heavens, and ready to avalanche down on this world, taking the earth by storm, and drowning all the disdain with the soul-sucking seaweed that has been hindering my stride and stroke. I will eventually rise as I swim through the channels of fear, lack of self-love, and change. As I learn these new waters and streams of emotion, anxiety can't touch me or come nigh. It will get swept up by the waves of love.
Wow. And what we do in the writing challenge group is we send out hearts to people. We just shout them out. So if you're in the comments, please send out your hearts to her. That was super transparent. She also was using some of the writing techniques that we learned. She used alliteration. Deanna, what else did she use? Because you always know what people use from our coaching sessions.
Was that an onomatopoeia?
Yes. She's been using a bunch, right? She's been using a bunch of her strategies. Awesome. That's awesome. Anyone else want to go next?
I'll go next. To preface mine was actually on day 2 with you, Takumbo. And it was, this is just an excerpt of what I wrote, but as I wrote it is when I was getting extremely convicted by the Holy Spirit, because you had said, I think 2 times in the times that I had listened to you, that it should not take a person more than 3 months to write their own story. It's write their book, to write their own story. And each time you said it, it was like, oh, every time. So as I was writing this,
what prompt?
Can you hear me?
You remember what prompt it was?
It was the second prompt. It was day 2. It was the good, the bad, and the ugly. Or no, the 2 qualities that you've noticed about yourself during the pandemic. Okay, so I'm gonna just read one of them, an excerpt. But it is, I have a tendency to think deeply about everything. Where others are able to remain on the shores of a thought, casually dipping their feet in the waters of wonder, I'm already wading up to my shoulders, and before I know it, I've managed to ponder it all the way out to the middle of the ocean. I'm comfortable staying out in the deep waters for a very, very long time. I'm working on this through writing because something happens when I write. I receive insight and clarity from the Holy Spirit and am then able to return to the shore and be more present in my relationships. The pen or keyboard is not only a weapon in my hands, it is also my raft back to shore. I need in capital letters, I need to write. That was Dave.
That was great, Maren. Good job.
Thank you.
We've been trying to get you to read one, so I'm glad you got on here and you were a leader and you were brave and you did it. So if you're watching, please send her some hearts for her transparency and her vulnerability. It was tough for her to write that, so please send her some hearts. Shout her out. Tell her good job. Excellent. Next, who? Deanna, did you want to go?
Sure. All right. So mine is from day 16, and the prompt was the sound of silence. Write about staying quiet when you feel like shouting. Okay. Do not let silence brood, turning your heart to stone. Do not let silence echo with resounding questions. The echo will quickly turn into a shout from a lack of understanding. Nothing makes sense in the silence. You've been given a voice for a reason. Your story resonates with power and authority for a reason, to declare a thing and establish it in your life and on the earth. When you want to shrink back, step into the light, soak up the sun, and shout.
Amazing. And she shared in the group as well. Please give her some hearts. Tell her good job. Daniel.
Okay, I'll go. I think this is kind of a culmination of all the different prompts. I wrote this while I was waiting for the train to go to work today. So, and it was just a day where everything seems to be kind of a little bit bleak. So I wrote it on my phone. All of these doubts and fears and expectations that had somehow wrapped themselves around me like snakes devouring its prey, choking and suffocating me to the point that fighting back seems futile. It is in this moment when you need to cling to what you know to be real, solid, and helpful. To pull from the story of Daniel, my favorite Bible story. The understanding that in the darkness, you are not alone. In the darkness, the beasts and monsters can't harm you. That in the darkness, the unflinching love of God wraps around you with the most intense, all-consuming love, that you can finally stand still and just be and know that it will be okay. You can speak honestly to the lurking monsters with truth and confidence. It is here in this space, in these moments, and with full understanding, I know I can dive into my life without fear, without worry, without doubt. I don't know where these fears and doubts will lead me, but I do know they only develop who I am. And to me, that is enough. It is enough to lay down control and to experience whatever comes my way, because ultimately, the path of my life has been cultivated, developed, and protected by someone much grander and encompassing than me.
So good. So good.
Such a show off. If you're in the comments and you thought that was awesome, just put hashtag show off. That's so awesome. I'm super proud of all the growth I've been seeing. I'm super proud of all the people that have been consistent. And even if you haven't been consistent, because we know it's 30 days. And so I knew people were not going to be like, oh my gosh, every day, like looking at their Facebook to see the prompt. But people that still took a step to say, hey, I know I need to develop in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and do something to get that professional development done. And so I'm super proud of people that decided like, hey, I'm going to try like at least do for 5 days, at least do 2-3 days. At least you decided to take a step, do something different, take a chance on some coaches to help you. So I'm so elated. And I'm also humbled that a lot of people decided, hey, I'm going to trust you with this. I don't know why I'm trusting you with this. I don't know why I'm even sharing this information with you. There's been people that have been super vulnerable and transparent in the group. And so I've been excited about that because it's also helped other people to be transparent, and it's helped other people to be able to speak and to write their own stories, right? And so I'm super proud of that. We are inviting people to finish the 10 days with us because we have changed. We're onto a new topic. Again, we pass the baton to Coach Favor Ikomi, and she is talking about fortifying your mind. And if someone can drop the link that's on about joining for the last 10 days to talk about fortifying your mind, we are really dealing with prompts that are going to agitate you, that's going to help you to confront those things that's causing you not to have the creativity that you need to continue to write until your book is finished. So we're going to do that deep work over the next 10 days so that we can be released into writing out our books, into writing out our devotionals, into writing out our short stories, our comic books, our children's books. And another thing I just want to remind people of is that one of the major things on my platform is that I really encourage people, I know Tiffany Nicole hit on that, I really encourage people to really do that deep dive healing, healing from their past, healing from wounds, so that they can be able to produce a product that's not going to bleed on other people, that's not going to bring people into another state of darkness that they're already in. I believe that we should share our stories of, our moments of tragedy, but I also want you to be invested in sharing your victory so that the people that read it understand that there's beauty on the other side of their trouble. And one way that we do that is healing through writing. I've already said this before. That was my first 10 days. You need to get your workbook, Healing Through Writing. Someone's dropping the link. Deanna has hers right in front of her. Amazing. You can get on Amazon and it'll come straight to you. So you really need to get that. You need to do your work. I love what Iyanla Banzan says. Do your work, right? A lot of us, we're like, oh, we want to be healed. We want to be whole. We want all these great things. But it doesn't happen like this. We have to do our work. And one mechanism that I use personally, and I encourage other people, I coach other people to use, is the Healing Through Writing strategy. And so in this book, I'm super transparent about what I went through and how I use these different 7 A's of healing in order to combat the thing that was allowing me to not have the creativity that I needed to write my book. And so actually, the reason why I even wrote the Healing Through Writing workbook is because I wrote a manuscript about how I overcame something. And someone told me, okay, they read it, and then they said, now you need to teach people, how did you do that? Like, how did you even come up with all this? And how were you able to overcome? Like, what exactly did you do? And so I was like, okay, healing through writing. I'm a teach people. I'm a teacher, so I could do that. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach you how can you heal through writing. But then also there's some creative mechanisms there. So there's like other things I show you, like if you get bored, this is what you should do. Because I know during our healing process, sometimes it gets boring, it gets super painful. But there's different creative strategies to keep us in the game so that we can continue to be creative, we can continue to write and not be stuck. And so I give you guys keys to get unstuck, right? And so, hey, Key, good to see you from Texas. Good to see you guys. Good to see your other classmates. If you guys have any questions, I see Valerie wrote hers on here. I'm going to read hers. I know beyond any doubts, hint of a shadow, he is speaking. Draw me closer into him to share with me the secrets of his heart, the yearning to fill my inner life, my pursuits of him, with all the good things he has ordained for me and to flow through me. That was really good. She's been awesome during the entire challenge. She's been consistent. She's been chiming in when she can't be consistent on certain days, but she's been doing an amazing job. He's been doing an amazing job. Candace has. I want to. If you haven't dropped anything on the comments and you're in the writing challenge, please share your beautiful writing, even if it's just one line. We would love to read it. And if you are a spotlight video of the day, we would love to hear you. And I'm so grateful for all the people that have decided to be spotlight videos and have decided to be brave and share their stories out loud. We could take some questions if people are on. Also, if you know that you need extra help with your writing, you just need extra help and you need someone to whip you into writing shape, go to my website, takumbetheleader.com, and ask me questions through there, book a free 15-minute consultation, and I'll be happy to talk with you. It's so funny. Somebody is on here and I'm like texting them like, this is what you need to fix. Like I'm coaching through text message, like fix this and take this out. Like make this shorter. So it's easy for me. It's not a problem. So if you have any questions about the writing challenge, can someone drop the link again for the 10 days, just the link for the Fortifying Your Mind portion. Any questions before we go? Any questions? We would love to take them. Thank you all so much, authors, for coming on. I'm excited about y'all's future. I'm excited about the big things that you guys are going to produce. I'm so excited about the final product. Any questions? Did you guys have any final remarks? Did you have any encouragement about why people should join the 10 days of Fortifying Your Mind?
I would just lastly say, get the healing you need. And one powerful avenue is writing, which Takumba will help you with that, so that you can be the great author and leader that you were always meant to be, that God had always envisioned you to be.
Yeah, I think that like sometimes we pamper ourselves like physically, we take longer naps. Like writing heals the soul in a lot of ways. So allow yourself to dive into that, even if it's a little bit scary. It will heal your soul.
And my battery is going to die, so I'll just say this before it does. The world needs to hear from you. The world needs to hear from you. So join so that we can hear your voice and we can read what you have to say.
Amen. Sign up, sign up, sign up. We want you to join the group for the last 10 days. It all starts in the mind, right? The sky is not the limit. Your mind is. So come join the group.
Let's go, quotes. Let's go, quotes. Come on, quotes. A lot of you guys had some amazing quotes, and we'll debrief afterwards to talk about them. The 10 days is a hearing through writing challenge. Is it? No. We're good. The last 10 days is the fortifying your mind. So we all had every coach had a different theme. So my theme for the first 10 days was healing through writing. Coach Nicole's theme was who has your ear? What is your medium? Coach Favor is doing fortifying your mind. So the last 10 days are with Coach Favor, and she has those prompts already ready. Her prompts are deep. I was reading them. I said, Lord, this is too deep for me. I'm just, it's too early to be this deep now. Please give me my life jacket. I can't go. You're good, Valerie. Yeah, so we had 3 different coaches. If you missed it, you can watch. If you're just joining, you can watch the different videos that we posted in there to catch up. But yeah, so we're in our final 10 days. Thank you, Candace, for quoting Deanna. The sky is not the limit, your mind is. See, look at you. People are already quoting you. Yes, see, these are your classmates. They're celebrating you already. They want you to join. I want you to join. I want you to have that healing experience if you want to do it well. So please join us. We would love to have you. We're just lingering to see if there's any questions. If there are no questions, we can be out. I don't know if you guys have any other things to say. Thank you all so much for coming on here. Thank you for sharing your stories, sharing your testimonies, sharing the celebration. This is a celebration. Again, I said we need to celebrate our small victories so that we can be able to be pumped up for the bigger goals that we have. So if you don't celebrate the small things, you're probably not going to see the big things as a blessing. So we always celebrate the little small things. So even if you just, again, if you did 5 days, celebrate yourself because you wasn't doing nothing before anyways. So, so if you wasn't doing nothing before, so celebrate yourself. So we're excited. We want to celebrate with you as well. So we want to celebrate at the end of the 30 days. So please join, and we would love to see your writing. All right, guys, if we have nothing, I love you like a leader, and we will write a legacy with you later. Bye. See y'all. If you have questions, please post them. We'll answer.